for purchasing the Honeycomb bee panel from PeaceLuvGlass. We have many other pre-cut glass kits available, either with all the accessories here or just the pre-cut glass. So be sure to check the website for all the other designs we have available. So let's begin with this Honeycomb bee. These are all the items that you should have included in your kit. You should have your FID, your copper foil, your Ameriway solder, your flux, and then of course your flux brush. All of your pre-cut glass pieces are numbered to match the corresponding numbers on the pattern that is also included in your kit. So at this point you should have all your glass pieces pulled out of the kit and laid out here just like I have, so that we can now begin to start the foiling process. The foiling process is a little tricky, but after a couple of pieces you will pretty much get the hang of it. So unroll your foil a little bit, and then you're going to peel off. There's a backing to this foil, so you're going to peel back the paper backing to reveal a silver backed color foil. If it starts off a little wrinkly, you can just tear a piece off, and we'll just get rid of that since it was kind of crunched up, and start with a fresh sticky piece. It doesn't matter which piece of glass you begin with. I'm just going to start here. I prefer to make sure that your foil stops and starts are in a location on the glass where glass touches glass. So I would start and stop my foil on these two sides and not on any of these exteriors. So I don't ever start and stop my foil on any of these outside edges. It's always where glass touches glass. Okay? And the way we foil is you're going to pick up your piece of glass and you're going to place it just like this in the center of the foil strip. And without touching or trying not to touch the sticky side, we then roll the glass into the foil strip, ensuring that we are still in the center of the strip as we go all the way around the piece of glass. When we come back to the beginning of our foil, we overlap just a little bit, anywhere from 1/8 to a 1/4 inch, and then I just kind of tear mine. I hold it down here and then just tear the foil away. It's very thin. Once you've tear your foil away, then you're going to overlap the pieces that are sticking out here, just like this. Okay, and your objective here is however much foil you have on this side of the glass, you want the equal and same amount on the back side of the glass. That's the overall goal here. So if you have achieved that, great. You've finished your first piece. And now you need to make sure that the foil is burnished to the glass. And the way we do that is with this FID. And it kind of, if you look at it like this, it kind of looks like a little boat. It kind of curves up on each end here. And I just hold it like this. And then we don't want to gouge, so we're not pointing it up like this on that edge of the tip, but we're just using the flat part. You can see here where I've already used it quite a bit, where it's turning black. Okay, so that's where you just want to rub and burnish the foil onto the glass, and I like setting it on my board here. And then once we do the edges, we do the same thing. And if you notice, there's a couple of little wrinkles here. And by doing this, we're kind of ironing out all of those wrinkles, and again, burnishing the foil onto the glass to ensure we have a really good, solid connection there. And that nothing's sticking up anywhere. And we're going to do this on both sides of the glass, the front and the back, just like that. Now you have your first piece of foiled glass. So let's do another. And again, it doesn't matter which piece. Now, some of these pieces are rather small, and if the numbered sticker is in the way, you're welcome to peel that off in order to get your foil around the glass without getting the foil stuck on top of the sticker. Okay, so I'm just going to grab another piece here, and again, get my foil, and we're going to do the same thing. Again, I'm not going to start on this outside edge. I'm going to start on an inside where glass meets glass, just like that, right in the center. Okay, and then we're going to again turn the glass. I'm going to lay it right into the center of the foil, and we're going to continue this until we come all the way back around. Now, I don't really care what method you use to do this with. Some people do it the way I'm doing it. Others actually lay it down and kind of do it this way on top of their board or their work surface. It doesn't matter, as long as the end result, when all is said and done, is that you are even, that you have the same amount of foil folded over on one side and that it's even as you do on the other. So again, the same amount here, the same amount here. Okay, can you see that? Just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and smash down the rest of the pieces all the way around. And again, they should all be nice and even. Now, if you end up with something that looks similar to this, can you see that? Where it's just a little off where the start and stop of the foil was. If you want to smooth that out a little bit, get a hobby knife or an X-Acto knife like this, and then all I'm going to do is just kind of trim that up so that we have, again, a nice smooth line here. And then make sure you check the back. See, the back has one too, this little, what I call a little tail. So do the same thing there. We're just going to trim off the little bit of that excess foil, just like that, and get it out of the way. And that way we can then continue with our fid. And again, we're going to burnish the outside edges all the way around. Then we're going to lay it flat, and we're going to burnish all the sides on the front and the back. And now, oops, see, I missed a little bit right here where it started and stopped. So we're just going to trim that off, just like that. Because we want nice, smooth solder lines. And whatever your foil is going to look like, that's exactly what your solder is going to look like, because your solder will only stick to your copper foil. So just like that. So you can see where I've trimmed off. It's nice and smooth now going all the way down. Okay? So there you go. Just continue this process with all of the remainder of your pieces. And again, if the stickers are in the way, remove them. That way your foil doesn't get stuck to the sticker. And continue this with all the rest of your pieces. And don't forget, burnish, burnish, burnish. This is very important. We don't want to have our glass falling apart on us or coming apart. The foil is what holds the glass in place along with the solder, so we want everything to make sure it's stuck very, very well. All right, so why don't you guys go ahead and continue with this. Take your time, and when you're done, come on back. I'll be done too, and then we'll continue on to the next step, which is to begin soldering. And we are back. So now you should have all your pieces foiled, and this is what it should look like. Grab you some push pins, and around the circumference of your panel, go ahead and pin everything so that none of the glass pieces move, wiggle, and jiggle, and that it should line up really gosh darn close to your pattern. Okay, and then just pin everything nice and tight because we don't want anything moving when we begin soldering. Okay, you should have your roll of solder, and you should have your flux right here and your flux brush ready. And then we will start to begin the soldering process, and I will show you how we will solder your pieces together. So it's really not that difficult, so don't be intimidated. The soldering iron needs to be a 100-watt soldering iron that you should be using for this type of solder. You should have either the Ameriway solder in your kit or the Canfield solder. Those are the two brands that we work with here at the shop. Okay. The other item is, of course, the iron. The iron that I use is a Hakko FX601. I have been using it for several years. I like it because it has a very short neck here, so you're not so far away from your project that you're working on, and it's very lightweight. Okay, so get your soldering iron plugged in and get your flux and solder ready to go, and let's start soldering our panel together. As far as where to start, it really does not matter. Once you have all your pieces pinned together, they should be nice and tight, so it really doesn't matter where you start. You can start fluxing all of your copper joints. You can work them all at once, or you can just do a little section at a time. I prefer just working in a little section at a time, and then I'll go back and grab some more flux and apply. Sometimes as you're soldering, if you notice your solder start to get gummy and want to stick to your iron and not let loose, that means you do not have enough flux on your panel. So just reapply, or if you can't remember if you fluxed or not, just reapply the flux. A little extra is not going to hurt anything. Alright, so my soldering iron is ready to go. There are two ways you can solder your panel together. One is to just do what we call a tack solder, which is where I just take some solder on my iron like that. I just go right down on across the top of it, and then I just place a dab. Go down again and place another one, and you just want to go around and solder all of your joints or your glass pieces together so that you can get all the pins out of the way. This is just called tack soldering. If the pins don't bother you, then you can do what's called running a bead, where you actually push the solder down onto your iron, and notice it's starting to melt and flow. And at the same time as you're pushing down on the solder to your iron, you're going to move your iron and watch the solder flow off your iron and onto your panel. And depending on how fast you move, that will then determine how much solder you put down on your piece. So if it looks like it's super flat, that means you went too fast. That means you're probably doing something like this, and it's either skipping or it's just really flat, and you can still see the seam where the two pieces of glass meet. And we don't want that. We want a little more solder to where once it's cooled, it should look like this one right here. It should be kind of a small speed bump, if you will. Once it's cool, if you run your hand across it, you should feel like a little bump of solder right there, because we're trying to emulate what lead would look like. Okay, so go ahead and add solder to your panel. Now, I'm not worried at this point in time what your solder looks like. If you've got enough, or like right here, let's just say it's very blobby and you're not even, and it just doesn't look very good. Okay, don't worry about that. Just get enough solder on your panel to get that speed bump going. And once you have applied the solder, then all you have to do is go back over it where you're not happy with some of the areas, and just go down and count to 2. Go down until you hit the glass and then count 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, just like that, all the way around. And you notice the solder will flow, and if you have enough on your piece, it will create that speed bump for you all by itself. If you do not have enough, like right here it starts to go flat, then we can just add some more by placing it there, or we can run another bead, and then again just 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and just let it flow. And you notice now this looks identical to what I ran there. So don't read a lot into it, and we don't necessarily want to like paint or push the solder where we want it to go. Solder generally does not like you to do that. It acts a lot like mercury to where it will just flow back. So if you just apply it to your panel and just do the 1, 2 count like I did, it will flow and give you that really nice little speed bump looking solder line. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and continue up here. If for some reason, like if you noticed right here, my solder is not melting very nicely as it did a minute ago, that's because the tip needs to be cleaned off, okay? The way I clean off my tip is with this brass brush. It has to be a brass brush, not steel or anything. And I just wipe it off to where it becomes nice and shiny and silver again, just like that, okay? Or if you happen to have the holder for the Heiko, here is my holder. Let me get it into view. It has a little kind of a brass, looks like a little steel wool pad, but it's brass. And I clean my tip in it also. Okay, so either one of those ways work. I don't like using the sponge that come with most soldering irons or soldering iron stands, because it wants to cool off your tip in that cool damp water or damp sponge, and thereby making your soldering iron work harder than it needs to. With the brass brush, there is no temperature change, so your tool does not have to work as hard in order to maintain temp. So whichever you prefer. So now I have cleaned my tip. Notice now the solder runs, and again we can run the bead. And if for some reason it got like here, it got a little globby and I missed a little bit, I'm going to add more to it. And then again, just to even everything out, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and there you go. And we have a nice bead going there, and it looks just like the other ones below. Okay, so I am going to continue on here for a little bit longer. I'll let you guys kind of watch and see how I do this, and then I'll let you go so you can work at your own pace. There's no rush. Like I said, just get it down. The way I generally work is I just start putting solder everywhere, and I don't really worry too much at this point in time about exactly what it looks like. I just want to get the solder on my panel, and then once I have it on there, then I will go back and do a little bit of tweaking with my 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, just like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'll finish up this body right here. Again, I'm just going to lay it down. If it looks good, then that's one less area I have to go back and tweak. But if for some reason it does not look very good, or if I went too slow or too fast and need to add some more solder to it, I can still go back and do so and clean up anything by just using the 1-2 method. And looks like I'm about to run out of stuff. Get another rope going. There we go. So you see I missed a little bit here, so I'm going to grab some and fill that hole in. And it's a little lumpy in some areas, so I will probably go back and just tweak it a little bit and count 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, just like that. And everything. And see, I'm a little short here too, so again, we'll add it and count to 2, just like that. Looks like here I've got enough, so I'm just going to even this out. All right, and then we'll go work our way down. And as long as you have enough solder to create that little speed bump, then you're good to go. If you don't have enough, again, just add some more. All right, and there it is, just like that. Really pretty, nice little speed bumps, because you want to put enough on there, not just for looks, but also for strength. You want to make sure that this panel holds together and doesn't fall apart. Okay, so continue creating your little speed bumps all over the rest of your panel. And don't worry about doing these outer edges yet. Just worry about putting all the glass pieces together and running all your solder lines and running your beads and putting all your joints together. And then I'll come back and show you how we're going to do the outer edge. Okay? So take your time, keep going. And we are back. So now you should have all of your glass pieces soldered together, just like I have here. And I did go back and get me some more solder. Here's the Canfield roll, so you may be using it instead of the Emeraway, either or. Now we're going to work on these outer edges. So again, you're going to get your flux, and you're going to flux just this top side, just the top surface of the edge of your panel, all the way around. Going to apply flux, just like that. Now, this is the one and only time that we will paint or just run our iron around the exterior here of this top. So just grab a little tiny bit of solder, not very much at all, and then just run your iron across the top. And all we're doing is changing color. This is called tinning. We're just changing the copper color of our foil and adding solder on top just to change color. Just like that. We're going to do this all the way around. And as you can see, it did not take that much at all. Okay? And that's all that we're going to do to this. And if you're happy with all of your joints and you've got nice bumps, now that mine has cooled, I can run my hand across here and feel that I've got speed bumps everywhere. Okay? And if you're happy with this side, then let's go ahead and just flip it over. It will probably stick to your pattern, so just flip it over. There you go, as long as it's cool to the touch. Just like that. And now you're going to repeat everything that you did on the front. You're going to do the exact same thing on the back. This time you don't have to tack it first. You can just start running a bead because you have already removed the pins. So again, I'm adding my flux. And again, I'm just going to do a little area at a time like I usually do. Not that much. This is one little wing here. All right, and then we are back off and soldering again. And we're going to do the exact same thing that we did to the front. We're going to do it now to side 2. Now you'll notice that when working on this side, you're going to get a little bit more little bubbles popping up like this, or little sounds like sizzling going on and things like that. That is because that is your flux is what's doing that and causing all these little bubbles to pop back out. You've now trapped flux into the pieces of your glass. On side 1, the flux had an escape route through the back of the glass, but now that you've sealed that off, there's no place for it to go, so it wants to pop back up at you. So it's no worries, just touch your iron back over any holes that might appear, and they will just fill right back in again. Okay, so again, we're gonna add solder, and that did not look really good right there, but I do need to add a little bit more. And again, 1 2 1 2 1 2 is all I'm doing, just like that, all the way around until I'm happy with all my joints. And then I'll go work on another section. Notice that bubbling. Can you see that? It is just bubbling away because of that flux. So don't worry about it. Just keep going over it. 1 2 1 2, and it'll slowly start to go away and disseminate. So we're going to put some more right here. This wing. Just like that. And again, 1 2 1 2. And it is just popping. And we'll just go over it again. When it pops back at you, just hit it again and it'll fill just like it did there. I need a little bit more solder right here with my speed bump. More popping. There we go. Now we've got our nice little bead run right there. So again, continue to do the exact same thing. Solder all your joints. Do just again the top side, tin your top side of this side, and then the very last thing that we will do will be the actual edges, and then I'll show you how we're going to adhere the rings. You should have the rings included in your kit also. Okay? Again, take your time, no hurry. This is your me time. So as soon as you get done, just come back and we'll continue our quest. You should now have both of your sides of your panels soldered, and the outer edges have all been tinned, which is just running your iron across them, changing your copper foil to silver. The last thing we're going to do, and yes, your panel is very goopy, full of all your flux and everything, but before we go clean it up, we need to work on these edges right here. There's still some foil showing on these edges. So the easiest way to do the edges, especially if you have some solder globs where your solder ran off the edge of your panel or anything, don't worry about that. We're going to clean those up right now. The easiest way to do that is to kind of let gravity take hold. So I'm just going to stand this up on its end like this. Take my iron and I'm just going to run it right here down the edge so that I'm not only tinning the edge, but if there's any excess solder, there it is right there. It just falls right off onto your paper or your pattern. Okay, once you get that side done, then you just slowly turn. I'm going to turn it this way, and then we're just going to do all the edges just like that. And if there's any excess solder, just let it fall onto your board or your work surface, and that way we can tin and clean up our edges all at the same time. See, there's a little excess solder there. So again, I'm just turning and running my iron down the edge. And one more, and yes, it'll be hot, so be careful. If it's too hot to handle, just wait and let it cool off a little bit. And I'm going to do the bottom portion here. Just like that. And so now all of your sides, and then we'll just kind of move these out of the way so that our panel doesn't sit on it. Alright, so now we have no more copper showing anywhere. Everything has been tinned and soldered together. This is the back side. I know it's the back side because I still obviously have my numbers on the front side. Okay, so as you can see, if you flip it over on the front, it shows that we're going to put our hooks or our hangers right here at these two joints. You don't ever attach your hangers to an area where there is just foil. Like you don't want to hang it here where there is no joint, or up here where there's just foil. Okay, you always want to attach your ring to where there is a joint. Okay, so based on that, I also always put my hangers on the back of my panel as to just kind of hide them a little bit. Okay, so because of that, I'm going to flip my panel over, and we are going to put the hangers right here at these two joints, just like shown on the pattern. But I am going to grab a pair of pliers, and I highly recommend you do the same to hold on to your rings. I just got little jewelry pliers here, needle nose jewelry pliers. Okay, and I'm going to turn my board a little bit so I can see this a little bit better. And I solder my ring, just a little bit into that joint, a little less than half. So some of it does stick up past the panel so that you can hook on your ribbon or your chain. But that way it's got a nice amount of ring, if you will, in that joint to where it will not fall off. Okay, so there is my solder. Again, we're going to flux not just the ring, but right there on the joint where I'm going to add it. Grab a little bit of solder here, and then basically what you want to do is you want to bury the ring into that joint so that it looks just like that. So you can't see it. And I'm going to let go now since it has solidified. And I'm going to see if I can hold this up a little bit so you can see. Can you see that to where the ring, you can't see the ring. It is now buried up underneath that solder. Okay, and now we're going to do the exact same thing to the other side. I grab my ring with my pliers. And again, I'm going to turn my board a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to grab my flux. Again, we're going to flux. And this way you can see exactly how I'm doing this. Grab a dot of solder here. And then again, I'm just going to let it melt. And there you go. And if you need to add a little bit more solder, you can. Like I'm just going to grab this little dot right here. I really didn't need that much more. Just like that. And then I'm just going to hold it there for a minute. Let it solidify. And there you go. So again, I'm going to hold this up so you can see it. Let me put my iron away. And you can see that that ring is now buried up underneath the solder, just like that one is. I can no longer see where the ring is going. It's right underneath there, okay? And when we flip it over, okay, I do have a little bit of solder, a little bit of a solder glob right here and here. So again, we do the same thing we did a minute ago. We just tilt it over. It's like we're cleaning up the edge again, and we'll just get rid of that little blob. Just like that. And if there's one on the other side, we'll do the same thing. There you go, just like that. So now we don't have any blobs anymore. And there you go. You pretty much have finished your panel. The only other thing that I do now once I'm done is I just double check to make sure that my edges of all of my joints do go all the way to the edge. So I'll just usually grab a little bit of solder, make sure that my solder goes to that edge there. That one already does. This one needs a little bit right there. And that's about it. And I'll do this to the front and to the back side. Just like I said, just to make sure it looks pretty and that all the edges go all the way to the edge like they're supposed to. Because once you run your iron down this edges after cleaning it up, you might have taken away a little bit on the front and the back side. And that's all we're doing, is we're just kind of prettying it up again. So there's my front. Looks like I got them all this time. Flip it over one more time. And it looks like I need some more over here. Just little tweaks here and there. All right, just like that. The bottom looks pretty good. There you have it. You have now just completed your very first stained glass panel. Everything has been assembled. So at this point, I would take it to the sink, give it a good little scrub, take your numbers off. If they don't come off or if they leave a little gummy residue, just get you a little toothbrush or a little brush of some sort, give it a scrub while you're at the sink, or a little bit of an alcohol wipe will take that off too, okay? And there you are. You've completed your first panel. Congratulations. If you have any questions or problems or need assistance, just holler at me. You can reach me at PeaceLuvGlass@gmail.com. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions. And if you're ready for your next kit, go to the website and check out our new designs. We've got new ones out there every month. Thanks again. I appreciate it and have a groovy day.